There's no complaining in my voice. It's an absolute privilege to be a part of a Super Bowl, and this will be, I think, my 20th Super Bowl that I'll be involved in.
Oh, wow. Happy anniversary.
In some way, shape, or form, either via Westwood One or, of course, with the pregame show at CBS. So, the Kansas City Chiefs will get here tomorrow. I don't even know if Tony and Jim are here yet. I think maybe they're coming in tomorrow as well. So this will be a normal Super Bowl from everybody watching at home. It just won't be accompanied by Super Bowl parties and all that other stuff, as Dr. Fauci now has supported the CDC's hope that people out there limit the amount of people that they sit and watch the game with.
Right, of course. I mean, that is the recipe that you don't want to see, a bunch of people indoors for multiple hours and the exposure and all of that. Now, are you actually in your hotel room, or are you in some sort of conference room in that Marriott?
No, I'm down in the conference room.
Okay.
So the way this works is really you can't leave the hotel grounds just yet. You got to be here for 24 hours.
Okay.
After I'm right next to the testing room for CBS here in the hotel.
All right.
They open at 6 a.m. So I'll have to go in and get a temperature check. You have to do every morning. You have to do a sort of a self-valuation check on your phone. There's 3 different apps that you have to download. There's a patient portal app. There's a testing app. There's all sorts of conversation going back and forth between CBS and MedCore. I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of the levels that are going on here and how careful everybody's trying to be.
Well, I was going to ask you because I hear an echo in there, and if that was your hotel room, that'd be the largest hotel room in the world. I've never been in a hotel room that had an echo.
No, I will say I do have a large hotel room, and I think it's bigger than Phil Sims' hotel room.
Oh, is it?
Oh, without it has to be. It has to be. There's no question.
Oh, wow.
I saw him yesterday. He was grumpy as all get out, just his normal grumpiness. He's mad at you.
What's he grumpy about?
Well, I'll tell you what, because he's really mad at you. I mean, he wants to punch you in the face.
Well, what did I do now?
Well, you said he wears lady glasses.
I didn't say.
Well, he thinks you did. So, first of all, he was trying to explain this to JB and Coach and Nate yesterday, saying that I said it, and I said I didn't say it.
And then you just tossed me right under the bus,
and
that's
Gio said it.
I didn't say it. Now, I'll go back. I'll tell you exactly what happened.
Yes.
I got multiple tweets with the same phrase in it saying, why is Phil wearing lady glasses?
Yeah, so you brought those tweets up. If you didn't bring them up, then there wouldn't be a problem. But he definitely has a problem with you. I mean, he is literally, not literally, I mean, listen, he's just really mad at you.
Okay, but just
want you to know that.
Just understand that when I said that these people were asking about his lady glasses, that I did not co-sign on the fact that they were lady glasses. I was just bringing to light the fact that people wanted to know if he was indeed wearing lady glasses.
Yeah,
that's all.
And then we had Momo call in from Kansas.
Oh, no. That was a different person. Marie in the Bronx was the person.
Marie in the Bronx, right.
Marie in the Bronx, yeah.
Right, and then you accentuated Marie in the Bronx with your impersonation of her.
Well.
And you were talking about his hair and how... it was just, and I think he was watching that day. And,
yeah.
I mean, he lit into me yesterday at the airport I thought, and I was like, dude, man, it's not me. It's not me.
Oh,
it's
sure.
It's the callers.
Yeah, well, there you go. So
and
as long as you
Gio
say it's not me.
Callers, no. And then I said, Gio then impersonates the callers and accentuates, in other words, he goes, we don't even have to talk about it if we don't want to. This is his thought process.
Okay.
If we, you don't have to take the calls. If you don't want to take the calls. And by the way, Marie in the Bronx, we thought that was going to be a nice call. That's what I told him.
Exactly. And I'm glad that you told him that, because generally when you see Marie in the Bronx and it says Phil Sims, I'm thinking, oh, say hi to Phil. I love Boomer and Phil together. I thought it was going to be something like that would have been cute and endearing and whatever else. But she said, does he wear a hairpiece?
Yes, but see, there you go. See what you just did right there?
Does he have a hairpiece?
This is what makes him so angry.
Well, that was Marie who said that, though.
Yeah, I know, but now you're saying it as Marie, and I'm just telling you, the more you accentuate the callers and
that's what annoys him.
And, he thinks that we're doing that on purpose.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
we didn't call Marie in the Bronx and tell her to call in.
No, she called in, and then we're just reacting to it. And that's what it is.
And we didn't say anything about his hair.
No, I mean, it was Marie that was the entry point to the conversation.
Right.
So he's got to relax.
I told him, I said, you got to calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'm going to kill Gio. I'm just going to kill Gio because he knows it's really you that are doing this.
Okay, then I'm egging it on. Okay, all right, fine, if that's his take. But I definitely I can defend myself. Now, I want to ask you. So last night, yesterday afternoon, when you heard that Trevor Bauer was down to 2 teams, that the Mets were heavily involved, that the Mets were the favorites, Ed Coleman came on with the deal that the Mets had offered on Carton and Roberts. What was the first emotion that you had when you heard that this was, I don't know, getting to the finish line?
Get him here makes a ton of sense.
Get him here makes a ton of sense, really.
That's exactly what I thought.
Oh, wow.
And quite frankly, I don't really care what they pay him, but they're going to end up paying him more per year, obviously, than Jacob deGrom makes, and Jacob deGrom is the best pitcher in baseball. I don't give a damn what anybody says, which I think if you're Jake or if you're any baseball player, you want these guys to make as much money as they possibly can because it just raises the level for everybody else. I don't know how many times we've talked about this, but I don't care what he makes. Just get him here.
Get him here makes a ton of sense.
Honestly, if you want to be a really good baseball team, you got to add arms. And look, I know he pitched in the Central last year. It was a truncated season. I know he's active on social media. I know he's got a personality. It has a potential to be combustible. There's no question about that. But if he plays well and he does well, then Met fans will obviously love him, and I'll love him. But if he comes here and he falls flat on his face and he's got the Twitter sphere going and all of that nonsense going, you know what that's going to turn into.
See, I am surprised that you are taking the slant of get him here makes a ton of sense because you're not one of those guys that likes the Twitter distraction. You hate that stuff. You hated it with Steve Cohen. You hate it with Marcus Stroman. That's not something that you like, and Trevor Bauer's got a lot of that in his history. Now, I don't think that it's really malicious. He had one instance, of course, with somebody where he's defending himself. It went a little too far. He did apologize with that. But, I mean, he's all over the place. And he's also someone that, hasn't dealt with a market like this before. So it makes you think, is it going to be accentuated, some of this Twitter stuff, if people are all over his ass around here because he strung together 3 horrible starts,
Yeah, well, it will be interesting to see how long the contract term is for. That's something that will be.
Well, the reports are that it's 3 years with his opt-out after 1.
All right, well, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Makes a ton of sense.
Makes a ton of sense. Get him here. I mean, but I don't mind I understand where we are. It's 2021. Guys are going to interact with people. And how he interacts with people and how people take that interaction. If somebody gets upset, if somebody writes back a tweet to them and all of a sudden they feel like they're being picked on or bullied or something like that, I know that every person has their own threshold of that, and then how they react to that, and then how we try to decipher what the hell people are really talking about here. I heard Al and Jerry talking about this morning. And Al said, look, man, he was just defending himself. He wasn't trying to, in any way, shape, or form, defame a woman or any of that other stuff.
No, that's not the question. And by the way, let me be clear. I'm not worried about his Twitter stuff as far as harassment goes, or like we're talking about Mickey Callaway. I'm not talking about any of that.
I know, but this whole thing that with, what is it, Katie Feldman? Is that who it was with? I'm trying to think who the female reporter was with the Daily News, and they got back into a back and forth, and because Katie feels, I think it was Katie, because she feels like she's insulted, she tells the world that she feels insulted and that this guy is bullying her on Twitter. If I understand the whole story correctly, and then when you go back and you look at the tweet, you're like, okay, she feels like she's insulted. Other people look at it as if Trevor Bauer is just engaging with her in a Twitter dispute about something, and he's kind of protecting himself and who he is. I mean, this day and age of just absolutely going after people because of Twitter and tweets and misinterpretations and things of that nature, and because somebody else feels insulted, everybody's just so sensitive these days. That's why that part of it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
What would bother me, however, if he does, as you just said, get off to a really bad start, 3 or 4 bad games in a row, gets pulled in the 3rd or 4th inning, gets lit up or any of that other stuff, you know what's coming.
Oh, yeah.
It's
that's
New York, man.
Right, and that's the stuff that would concern me, a distraction, and some people just aren't built for this. We've seen it with certain guys. I mean, with the Yankees and the Mets. Whether it be sunny,
every team.
Yeah, well, yeah, in New York for sure, but just specifically talking baseball, when you get here, some people it's perfect for them and some people it isn't. So, I mean, and also, by the way, this is not like a slam dunk for someone whose career to this point has been so great that you have to have him on the team, and my goodness, oh, what an upgrade. I mean, you could say, yes, last year might be the beginning of him having a great career, and this was a jumping-off point to several great years. But, I mean, if you compare his career to Marcus Stroman's right now, it's very, very similar. Now, we're coming off a Cy Young pandemic season spectacular run by Trevor Bauer. But if you look at the totality of his career, him and Marcus Stroman are essentially the same guy. So now you're going to pay this guy, over $30 million a year. Now, 1 year, and if he opts out and he wants to go somewhere else and the Mets are great because their rotation is so strong, then, yeah, of course I'm going to end up loving it. But, I mean, we act as if Trevor Bauer is Jacob deGrom. He's not. He's not even close to Jacob deGrom. He's not even close to Garrett Cole. He's not even close to Max Scherzer. He's just not that guy.
No, he's not, but he is a top-ended arm, and what a guy to have in the rotation as the, right behind Jake deGrom, if he can pitch like he did last year. I mean,
yeah.
It's exactly what we would want. I don't know if there's still not a resolution between the owners and the players. It sounds like everything's moving along as if they're going to start on time.
Sure.
I understand that the players want to get paid. I totally, they have a finite time to make their money. But, you also, like I was saying last year, you have to be realistic about the situation that you're in, and you got to be partners with the people that are trying to make money for everybody. And I know that each of these baseball teams are worth a certain amount of money. So therefore, the people that are investing in those baseball teams can run so many things through those teams tax-free and live their lives at a very, very high level. And the owners benefit as the teams, gain in value over the years. I understand all that argument, but I also understand that you're trying to put together a baseball season in which politicians in Arizona, of all places, are asking that you start just a little bit later to give them a little bit more of a chance to vaccinate more of their population out there before you bring in this onslaught of people that want to come and watch baseball games in the spring, which is people love to do this, and it's a great trip, and it's a great thing to be a part of. And I do think that there has to be some realization of the fact that we're still in the middle of this thing.
In the middle of a goddamn pandemic?
Right,
Is that what
exactly.
You're saying? Yeah.
Yes, because, I lived it yesterday. I saw it. I traveled. I saw it. I know exactly what's going on. Mm-hmm. And I see how people are trying to be uber careful. And I don't see a reason why they can't just delay it a little bit. Maybe play 156 games or 154 games, have the DH in the NL.
They'll figure it out. I'm not worried about them figuring this out. I'm worried about next year.
I know. Well, but next year is really where it's going to hit the fan.
Yeah, exactly. That's
why this year they should come together and do whatever they possibly can to make it the best situation for everybody moving forward. And that means the later you start, the more likely you're going to have some sort of fans being able to come to the stadiums to watch the games.
Which helps out, obviously, the team's bottom line, which everybody wants to see.
Right, and these players obviously didn't get paid for a full 162 last year. They took a pay cut, but then again, so did ownership. Ownership took a huge haircut to the tune of I don't know how many billions of dollars they probably lost due to lack of gate receipts and lack of games and everything else. So I think there has to be a realization of what we're all going through.
Sure, of course. Now, back to Trevor Bauer just for a second. Even though I've been creating a case where I don't want him on the Mets, if he signs, I'm going to be a total hypocrite and flip and then say that the Mets have the best rotation in baseball and watch out, we're coming for the World Series.
So
you know, and just so everybody knows that I'm going to totally flip when he signs, and I'm going to be all about it. Because that's what you do. That's what you do for your team. You know what I'm saying? That's what you do for your team.
All right, so, we had a problem at the station yesterday. And you're pulling a Jerry Recco right now.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You're pulling a Jerry Recco right now. No. It's such a Jerry Recco. It's not even funny.
Well, you could talk to Jerry about that.
No, I'm not talking to Jerry today. I don't want to talk to Jerry today.
You don't want to talk to Jerry today?
No,
okay.
And the reason I'm saying that you're pulling a Jerry Recco today is because yesterday I asked him 3 different times, Are you taking care of the food? Are you taking care of the food? Are you taking care of the food? He goes, don't worry about it. I got it. I said, I was going to take it downstairs, some of it downstairs, to the security team down there and everything else. No, I got it. Don't worry about it. I got it. This is what he kept saying. And then I find out, because I got to go catch a flight, that Jerry, decides to put out on Twitter, I left the food behind, so it's my bad. And he gets out and apologizes for leaving the food behind. That's okay. Because I knew once Numbnuts got there in the afternoon, he was going to make a big deal out of it. And of course, he makes a big deal out of it. And then it's an embarrassment to our show, because after they left their food out and I made a big issue out of it, now Jerry leaves our food out, and Captain Chaos has got to make a big deal out of it.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.